Welcome to UPSC with Ricky. The Rule of Law, एक डेडिकेटेड UPSC गाइडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म जो एस्पायरेंट्स को सही दिशा, स्पष्ट कॉन्सेप्ट्स और मजबूत कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अंडरस्टैंडिंग प्रदान करता है.
Hi friends, my name is Rick, and today you all know that the problem is occurs, and that's why we have to discussing about this global issues regarding to the global oil problem, right? The thing is that the price is now lowering. It's mean it is being decreased, right? Hi, my name is Rick MAITY. Okay, this is me. My name is Rick MAITY, and I am preparing for the UPSC civil services, and I am an educator. Okay, and 5 year plus I having experience on this particular field to be established educator, to giving some kind of lectures regarding to this particular topics which is important for the global issues and international relations, right? So today's current affair is based on the international relation, and this international relation is currently impacting towards the main topic is like crude oil. Okay, now what is my name? Now my name is Rick MAITY. I'm telling, that is what my introduction is. This was my name, Ricky MAITY, and I am a teacher for the topics of the UPSC, IAS and IPS. So we have to preparing for the same, right? Now the thing is that why the current affairs part, international relations and all kind of stuff is very important for that matter. Why? Because now the world is dominated by the developed countries, right? And in developed countries the crude oil is a main thing, right? Because in America, if you're going to America, okay, US, those people are a ample amount of creating uses of this particular crude oils, okay, as compared to the developing ones, right? And that's why they're having a trade between the Mediterranean areas and developing countries. So that is what it is. And developing countries, the main thing is US, America. So there is a direct exchange on it. So that is what the world politics moving around. See, world politics is only based on the resources, and the main part of the resources are the everyone wanted the resources to be sublime, but it is not, because it is being saturated, right? So that is what it is, and the most of the resources are being centered. The most of the resources are to be calibrated, and that was to be in US and USA, right? American countries are utilized more amount of resources as they shown. So that is what it is. So we have to discussing about this particular topic regarding towards key what is the outcome of it. Now, big drop in the crude oil prices impact on India and the world. Obviously, India is a part of the world, and mark my word, if you are in world, and if in the world having the politics, okay, then it impacts globally, and if it is impact globally, then it impacts India as well, because we are no longer being separated, but we are in the world. So if the world richest peoples are doing politics, are doing US, America, and those kind of people are doing politics because of the resource, so that will be impacted towards India as well, because their requirement and our requirement are simultaneously going on. So that is what it is. Now the significant decline, okay, that is the most important part, is the significant decline in the global crude oil prices. Significant decline means that for India, which imports nearly 85% and its crude oil requirements. Now what is the crude oil? What is crude oil? The crude oil is, first of all, is an unrefined fossil fuel. Okay, the first of all thing is that it is undefined fossil fuel extracted from the underground reservoirs, okay, and refined into the petrol, diesel, LPG, aviation, turbine fuel, kerosene, and petrochemicals. Okay, now the demanding factors are what determines crude oil prices. What determines crude oil prices? This is a very important aspect of this particular topic, because who defines the prices component in the global world, that the crude oil prices is that much, the crude oil prices is that much, that is defined by the invisible hand. It is also be depends on the invisible hand theory, where demand supply is has to be called out, and that is what the demand factor is higher and demand factor is lower. If the demand factor is higher, the higher the demand, the higher the prices, and the lower the demand and lower the prices. And and this particular oil, crude oil, is also be directly impact on the stock market, and eventually the stock market is also being impacted on the Indian and global markets. And because of the Indian and global market, that's why it is also impact on the gold. Okay, so it's hampered, everything is associated to the others. If one thing is being frequently problem, then it also be problem on the second way, right? So that is what it is. Next thing is supply factor. The more supply is a lower price. That is what it is. More supply means a lower price. But it is, now the condition is the geopolitical factor, like Russia Ukraine conflict, Israel Iran tensions, and Gulf conflicts. So that is the main three part of this particular issue, where Russian Ukraine conflict, Israel Iran tension, Gulf conflicts are also be indulged into it. Dollar exchange rate issues in India, because now $1 in India, that is 96 rupees. So that is the main issue, because oil traded in the US dollars, right? And growth of the renewable energies, that is the main thing. Now the problem is, if we are dependent on this particular crude oil, then we have to reduce the long term dependency on this particular oils. This is very important, because why? Because if we have to be dependent on this particular oil, then in future, if it is gone, we are gone. That is what. And crude oil price falling, more economics witnessing that slower growth, less energy consumption. Yes, it is right, very right. And the OPEC and their policy changes everything. The group controlling a large share of global oil production. Yes, this group is controlling. See, the groups are controlling because the prices are also be impacting on the business, and therefore the profit comes, and people having the more richer and richer, more having the resources. That is what I'm telling. This is the power politics. This is the power politics, and associated with the money politics. Okay, major member Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iraq, Iran, Kuwait. That is the major member of this OPEC, because they are the Mediterranean areas, right? So that is what it is, and that's why USA president also dependent on the decisions of this particular group. So crude oil and the inflation, direct impact, the fuel prices directly affect petrol, diesel, LPG. Yes, it's good. Yes, it's right. And indirect impact, transportation cost effect, vegetable, fruits, and industrial goods. Yes, obviously, because crude oil, that will also be depend on the, everything is depends on the crude oil. Petrol, diesel, LPG also be impacted. So if the petrol, diesel, and also LPG is impacted, so food prices are also. So now, what is the crude oil and the inflation? Now, crude oil and inflation are directly, indirectly impacted. Now, indirectly impact and direct impact. Now, direct impact means the fuel prices directly affect petrol, diesel, and LPG. We know that it is very important that we are also dependent on the crude oil. The whole India is dependent on this crude oil. Okay, that is the fossil fuel. Okay, that's why the world is actually trying to go to for non-fuel, non-fossil oriented products. So an indirect impact is transportation cost, like vegetables, fruits, and industrial goods. Yes, the transportation cost is the major thing for the supply. Okay, product supply, right? Now the oil affects the whole price index and consumer price index, CPI, right? The thing is that the whole price index and the CPI, consumer price index, also be impacted. This is the two major thing in our India. Why those things are very important in India? Because see, wholesale price index and the consumer price index are being the major, a layer in Indian, just like if we buy kind of a consumer products, that would be a layer on that, right? Now the thing is that US Iran understanding in this particular topic, in this particular concept, they are the kind of a keywords that we have to remember. First of all, that is US Iran understanding. Okay, Strait of Hormuz reopening is very important, right? Because after war, that is happened. Crude oil below $80. Okay, shipping route is normalized, right? And the crude oil base price would be impacting shipping and the refining cost, marketing margins, dealer commission, central and state taxes, okay, inventory effect, logistic issues, financial recovery, currency factors. This kind of 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4 5, and 1 2 3 4, this 5, and this 4 things are also be important for this particular topic, which is being necessary, right? Now, what are the government initiatives? Initiatives are very important. Why initiatives are very important? Because you have to mention these initiatives, okay, in our mains. Okay, in our mains answer writing, you have to be write all kind of initiatives, as an example, right? This is the initiatives, right? And that is the example. This is the initiative, that is the example of the initiative. So whatever the statements you have to written down, you have to write it as an example initiatives. Okay, so that is why, because this statement is now being more reliable. Okay, everything whatever you are talking, okay, you have to give some kind of data. Okay, data gives the authentication, initiatives gives you authentication. Now the other thing is that if you give examples, if you give live examples, Okay, that is also giving you the edge on the answer writing. You have to adding on down. You have to write any statement and then add on it. Write any kind of thing and add on it. Write any kind of thing and add on it. Why? Because after the add on the data, you have to add the data, you have to add the fact, you have to add the examples. Okay, that would be subsidize and giving the right kind of connotation of this particular statement, right? Like this is good and this is good. Reliability. What? Reliability is more important. Reliability gives you authentication that this answer writing is good. That is what I am telling, right? Now second thing is strategic petroleum reserves, SPR. Now what is the strategic petroleum reserves? Storage facilities at the Visakhapatnam, Mangaluru and Padur. Okay, there is a four kind of areas which is very important, like Visakhapatnam, Mangaluru and Pudu. And Visakhapatnam is now in the noticeable news because of some kind of infrastructural progress, and AI technological hubs are also be created on this particular area. Okay, so that is what it is very important. And the emergency oil reserves, this is also very important. Renewable energy push, that is also very important, because this is also related to the energy oil reserves. Now the second thing is the renewable energy push. Renewable energy push, that is what the main concern of this. Now what are the main concern of this topic? First of all, we have to understand crude oil. Crude oil is the major topic. Okay, now crude oil is major topic and associated with CPI, WPI and consumer index and consumer products. Why consumer products? Because of the supply chain, supply and demand. And that is what supply and demand also be inculcated with what? Product supply. That is what, and that is therefore invisible hand theory works. Now second thing is global politics, right? Global politics is way more important. That is, it determines supply and demand, and artificially we have to create by creating urgency. How? Because of the OPEC, because of the global politics, political groups, pressure groups, right? So those are the points that is very important for this particular topic. I hope you have to understand this thing, and please follow and subscribe and support me for my this particular journey of UPSC, and have a nice day. Thank you.